geocentrism is that the Earth is stationary and that the heavenly bodies are revolving around the Earth. Now, nowadays, if you even suggest something like that, you'll be crucified, basically. Not only that, there's a growing movement nowadays, and this is not just amongst Christians, this is in the scientific community, that the Earth is actually a plane. It's a flat plane. It's not globular, and it's stationary. It's a very popular movement now, But the thing is, for a lot of people, if geocentrism is correct, and we are unique and everything's going around us, and suddenly God becomes very important. Who did this? Who put us on this pedestal? Why did he do it? How do we thank him for it? Oh, we're just monkeys, right? We're monkeys on some backwards. NASA just said, we found 7 new planets. They're just like Earth. Sure they did. I don't think so.
This is not dust here. This is Earth seen through the rings of Saturn. Earth. And just a reminder, we are a speck in the middle of a cosmic void, occupying what we call Earth. But in fact, if you come upon our solar system from outside, if you're an alien first coming upon our solar system, Earth would be barely noticed by you. You'll notice Saturn, you'll notice Jupiter, and you'll say, what are these balls of rock orbiting closer to the sun?
This is what's happening right now in the world.
So Allah describes the earth in the Quran as having a width, as having been stretched, as having been extended, as having been widened. And by the way, that widened one is the one that they still somehow jump to an ostrich egg, yeah? All right, so I don't know how they jumped to that ostrich egg, but I'm glad to hear that Muhammad Hijab also says that we should move away from this. So that tells you that they know themselves that there's some, what's the word?
There's some, in Urdu, kuch ho raha hai. Like, there's something brewing here.
Yeah, exactly. There's something being played with.
The claim that is usually made when trying to prove Islam is scientific is a claim in chapter number 79, verse number 30, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالْأَرْضَ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ دَحَاهَا. And they said, or they translate this to mean, and the earth, we have made it into an ostrich egg. Now, this is a false translation, with all due respect to all of those who are making this or saying this. It's a false translation, which is why, to my knowledge, I don't think anybody has ever translated that into the English language in this way. And not only this, but we would see that all of the exegetes of all time in the medieval period, practically all of them or none of them had said anything like this. So this is probably one of the worst examples, with all due respect once again, of distortion and superimposition and contriving meanings into the verse which are not actually there in any way, shape or form. Now, why do these individuals, or what potential tenuous link could individuals make between an ostrich egg and this verse? Well, an ostrich egg is referred, not even the ostrich egg, by the way, sorry. The place wherein which, and this is the degree of tenuousness in this attempt here, the place wherein which the ostrich lays its egg is called a mudha. This is called that. Not the ostrich egg, the bayda itself of the na'ama, not the ostrich egg itself, but the place in which the ostrich puts its egg is called a mudha. Now this is a noun, but this verb this verse in the ayah is not mentioning a noun. So how can you translate it as a noun? Because the verse is a verb. Dahaha. He done daha to it. Ha is a'ida ila al-ard. Yeah, ha is because ard is mu'annatha, is feminine in the Arabic language. Wal arda ba'da dhalika dahaha. What we can't endorse, with all due respect, is superimpositions onto the text. And I actually believe a retraction is necessary here, because there is no precedent for this. There's no precedent for anyone saying that this verse means, and we have made the earth ostrich-egged. No one has said that, with all due respect. And therefore, we have to be humble, and we have to be sincere, and we have to make a retraction here, because this is the Quran we're talking about. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. He mentions many things, and of the worst things that you can do, and he says at the end of the verse, وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ, that you say about Allah what you don't know. And so this is not what Allah has intended, because it's not facilitated by the language. And there should be a healthy retraction by those proponents of the scientific miracle narrative who have said this, who have said that it's ostrich egg. There should be a retraction, because we can't be demanding from all of those scientific error people, okay, the anti-Muslims, anti-Islam apologists, all these retractions, and not be introspective and self-reflective in our own communities. And we have to try and sanctify the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as we can. And these are the dangers of the scientific miracles narrative, where you almost forcibly superimpose meanings of science into the text, where there's no requirement to do so, because there's actually healthy alternatives with great precedent and which are facilitated by the language in the very Quran that we believe in. So this one of the weaknesses of the pitfalls of the scientific miracles narrative that we've seen for the last maybe 20 years.
So this one that they use for the egg, let's have a look at the roots of that word first, that they say is an ostrich egg. So dahawa. So again, I had to look this up in my Arabic dictionary. It was not available in the same sources that I use online. Now, I do wonder about that. That's a first red flag, that it's not easily available online. So I had to, so anyway, the ostrich egg. So if you look at dahawa, the roots are to spread out, to level up, to widen, to enlarge, to relax. Think about that. Spread out, again, that's the big culprit that I've said also. It's just overused and abused everywhere, spread. But look at the next one, level up. What do you think of? To widen something, we've already gone through that, the width. What do you think of? To enlarge something? Okay, that doesn't necessarily help. That leaves a bit of ambiguity. But what about to relax something? What does something look like when it's relaxed? It's flat. Yeah, it's low. Anyway, it's up to you. Right, so let's stick to what is clear. The ostrich egg is a noun. I have an Arabic English dictionary by Badawi and Abdul Halim. I looked up the triliteral root dal ha wow.
Now, really, to be honest, this situation arises because we have ignorant Muslims who are using a method to invite non-Muslims to Islam, but they are using a method which has innovations and great mistakes within it. And this is one of the great trials and tribulations of the late 20th century and the early 21st century. And this trial and tribulation is that a people have come along and they've been amazed and dazzled by what is with the non-Muslims of their sciences, their alleged sciences. So these alleged sciences, or these discoveries which they allegedly made in the early to the mid 20th century, when they started laying down the foundations of their belief system regarding the universe and the solar system and the Big Bang and so on and so forth. So they became amazed with all of this, and they decided, or they saw that we will make this scientific discovery to be a foundation in calling the non-Muslims to Islam. So we will impress them with what we find in the Quran of foreknowledge. This is what they say. This is the basic idea. And so then what they began to do is they began to exaggerate wildly. They did not go back to the tafsir of the Salaf or the Sahaba, but they took certain ayat and began to put meanings into those verses, which those verses do not contain. and they then try to make them fit with the alleged discoveries or the claims of the modern scientists. So now all of a sudden we see that the Big Bang is in the Quran. Now we see that the alleged expansion of the universe is in the Quran. And now we start finding all these theories. Now we find that the speed of light is in the Quran. And we find that dark matter is in the Quran. And dark energy is in the Quran. And all this nonsense, distortion of the book of Allah, lying upon Allah Azza wa Jal, from these people, Zakir Naik, from these people, Hamza Tsotsis, all these people who are using who used the Kalam cosmological argument, which relies upon the Big Bang, that the universe had a beginning, and the Big Bang is batil, it is false, it is pure conjecture, and it is batil. That's a different topic altogether. There are many of these people. There are all these people out there, and they have fallen victim to this method. And to cut a long story short, what we should know and understand, ya ikhwan, is that the sciences of the disbelievers, especially in two fields of the origin of the universe and the origin of man, it is pure conjecture and pure speculation and pure falsehood, all built upon hidden assumptions. All built upon hidden assumptions. By way of example, all of the science of the 20th century to do with the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, and so on and so forth, all of that science is built upon concealing the fact that the science of the previous century has proved conclusively that the earth is not moving. The science of the 19th century proved that the earth is not moving. It is not moving. The earth does not move. And the science of the 20th century is all built upon distorting physics, distorting true scientific inquiry in order to conceal the fact that the earth is not actually moving. And so this is where all of the Einstein, relativity, theoretical physics, mathematical models, Big Bang expansion, gravity, dark matter, all of this is fairy tales. They're inventing ideas and concepts through mathematical trickery, mathematical witchcraft. This is what I call it mathematical witchcraft. This is what the philosophers used to do, that Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah was criticizing. That they think of things in their mind, which exist only in the mind, and then they treat them to be as if they are actual, real things in external reality. And this is the same thing of what the modern astronomers are doing. They're not astronomers, they are witch doctors, they are voodoo people, this is what they are. But they are doing something not with chemicals, but with mathematical trickery. Right? They are thinking of things in their mind, which exist only in the mind, then they are proving it through theoretical mathematics. And this is something they will admit to. They will say that basically all of modern astronomy has to be built upon mathematical theory, because we don't have a control experiment. We don't have another Big Bang. We don't have another creation of the universe to observe and analyze. So everything is mathematical theories and models. This is the crux of everything that they've built in the 20th century. It is all conjecture, assumptions, and then proven, made real by clever use of mathematics. So anyone who goes and tries to prove the Quran has scientific miracles whilst relying upon the scientific findings of the 20th century, he is a jahil, he is an ignoramus, and he will end up lying upon, in fact, indeed, they have actually started, they are lying upon the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. Zakir Naik, he lies upon the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. He lies when he says that in the Quran there is the universe expanding. He lies when he says that in the Quran there is the Big Bang. All of this is kadhib. It is a lie upon Allah Azza wa Jal. So, coming back to the question, the question was that why are these shubuhat? Why are the non-Muslims spreading these shubuhat? They are spreading these shubuhat because the Muslims themselves have used a wrong methodology. Because they are ignorant of these realities. So when you start exaggerating in the scientific miracle and trying to impress the non-Muslims that their science is in the Quran, whilst their science is full of conjecture and nonsense and falsehood and lies, then you're going to fall. Then you're making this is a recipe for the non-Muslims to come back and start attacking Islam and confusing Muslims and spreading so many shubuhat. So obviously we believe that there are miraculous aspects in the Quran. We believe in prophecies, and all of this is revelation from Allah Azza wa Jal. And as for the claim of that this came from the jinn, this is just pure speculation. This is just one of many claims made by the non-Muslims that he's mad, that he's possessed, that stories are told to him morning and evening. It's the jinn, hallucinations. He makes them up. He took them from the Jew. All of these things, they are the well-known shubahat used by the Orientalists and other than them to try to explain the Quran, to try to explain the Sunnah. Where did this come from? All of these have been answered. They've been dealt with. They're answered in the Quran itself. They are rejected and denied in the Quran itself. So that's just something that we should be aware about, because the issue of scientific discoveries was mentioned in the question. Do not fall victim to the alleged scientific discoveries of the non-Muslims, because most of the science is built upon pure speculation, especially in these two fields: origin of the universe, origin of man. As for the hard sciences, the sciences that give us, the ones that bring benefit, like the hard physical sciences, the electronics and all the rest of it, of course this is beneficial science. We are speaking about the speculative sciences that they, which their worldview is built upon: evolution, Big Bang, and on top of that, underneath that is the atheism. All of that is just speculation. And a person will fall into mistakes if he starts believing that stuff. And, basically what they're trying to do is, your physical senses are telling you one thing. They want you to disbelieve in your physical senses. This is what they're telling you. They're telling you that everything you're seeing is just an illusion. Right? You don't feel the earth move. You see the sun, moon, stars rotating, rotating. This is what you see. And it's what you feel, it's what you perceive. This is what Allah tells you in the Quran. It's the sun that moves. They want you to believe that you are deceived. Your eyes are being deceived. And then they want you to believe their conjectures. They want you to believe their lies and their fabrications, which do not have any empirical evidence whatsoever. It is all assumption, conjecture, make-believe. But it's just done in such a sophisticated manner, with all the equations and whatever else, that a person is deceived and thinks it to be, well, they must know what they're talking about, it must be true. But it's not. When you dig and you study and you look at the history of all of this, it is clear that this is just conjecture.